And good morning, everyone, and welcome to INCRadio Florida. I'm one of your hosts this morning, Brother Robert Topalas, coming to you live from here in Tampa, Florida. And I can definitely say, Brother Jim, today is sunny. This is the Florida that we all come to see. So we wanted to just greet everyone this morning. And of course, today is Saturday, August 17th. It's a little past 9:30 in the morning here on the East Coast of the U.S., but I'm going to toss it over to my friend there, Brother Jim, in Pensacola, who happens to be in a different time zone. How are things doing up there in Pensacola this morning, Brother Jim?
Good morning, Robert. It is beautiful, and you're absolutely right. This is the kind of weather that I so love in Florida, and truly intend on going out and doing a little fishing today. I'm hoping the yellowtail are biting, and we can bring some good stuff home. But I gotta say, as beautiful as it is out here today, I think we have definitely some good looking guests here.
Well, thank you, Brother Jim. No one's ever called me that on air before, but good morning, everybody, and thank you for joining the show, Brother Jim. Definitely, whatever fish you're catching, we want to talk about it next week. You know, fishing stories are what we do here on INC Radio Florida. But we also are joined by Sister Audrey here. Very fortunate she's still here with us. Uh, good morning, Sister Audrey. How are you?
Hi, good morning, Brother Robert, and everyone joining us on INC Radio Florida today.
Oh, awesome. And today's topic, we're going to be talking about uh, a special activity that was held here in the Americas last weekend, in fact. And it was an international Kadiwa meet and greet. And we're joined by several of our delegates that were sent from the District of Florida to participate in that activity. The activity really was something that was composed of sort of this worldwide congregation of Kadiwa members. And as you guys know, Kadiwa here, if you're not familiar with it, is the term that's used to describe the youth of the Church of Christ who are over the age of 18 and not yet married. So this was a great opportunity for them to fellowship. And we'd love to just dive right into the topic and introduce our guests this morning. So we're going to start actually with Sister Cassandra Gallion. Good morning, Sister Cassandra. Could you go ahead and introduce yourself, please?
Hi, good morning or good evening to whoever's watching. My name is Sister Cassandra from the locale of Tampa, Florida. I am the District Kadiwa President. I am a CWS teacher, District Multimedia, District CWS, and Finance Officer.
All right, great. Thank you very much. And we'll toss it over to Sister Mia Herbert, who's there on the east coast of Florida. Sister Mia, good morning.
Good morning. My name is Sister Mia. I'm from the locale of Cocoa Beach, Florida. I am a secretary and city secretary.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. And then last but absolutely not least, Brother Tristan Sullivan, who happens to also be here in Tampa, Florida. Good morning, Brother Tristan.
Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Brother Tristan Sullivan. Like Brother Robert said, I'm from Tampa, Florida. I'm a choir member and organist, and I'm also a DCAT officer.
Awesome, Val. That is awesome to hear from everybody this morning. I'm going to start with actually just a couple of photos of the activity because I think it's important for us to kind of lay the foundation of just how large this activity was, and then I'm going to talk to our guests and share. So I'd love to hear you guys share your experiences because from what I hear, this was something that was really actually a very memorable activity, especially for those who got to participate for the first time in this kind of an activity. But Sister Cass, I'm going to go ahead and actually have you kind of walk us through some of these photos here. See if I'm actually able to share it. Here we go. And so, Sister Cass, this is kind of the title slide, so we'll talk about this here in just a second. But can you tell us a little bit about what the itinerary for the Kadiwa meet and greet was and kind of what its mission was actually?
Sure. So this was the first international Kadiwa meet and greet that was held outside the Philippines. It was held in Canada or Manitoba, the state of Manitoba, Winnipeg specifically. The purpose of this activity was to gather Kaniwas from all over the world and give them a venue where we can meet one another. We all come from different places, and so in total there was 28 different districts that was represented. Florida was just one of the many districts that were present. There were over 600 Kadiwas that were there. Um, and so this activity was really a chance for all of us to come together, uh, people as young as newly 18-year-olds, all the way up to seasoned Kadiwas. And it just gave us a place to create new friendships, make memories, and if you're lucky, find your potential significant other for down the line in the future. Um, and so this is one of the activities that really allows us to have, that safe place for one another in a Christian manner.
That's great. Now, when you talk about the activities, it sounds like this is somewhat structured. It's not as if everybody just got there and it's 3 days of a free for all, or of everybody doing things. Can you talk about what the different activities were on each of those days?
Sure. So day one was really the traveling and the arrival and us registering ourselves. And it was a soft launch for people to meet one another. It took place at the primary hotel because there was two hotels really that brethren stayed at. So the registration took place at the primary venue. And so you go there, you register, you pick up a welcome package, which you see at the bottom middle picture, and it included the itinerary and included some snacks for the brethren also, just welcoming. And so ideally they wanted you to pick it up and leave, but a bunch of Kadiwa that are in a new place, surrounded by new people. No one really left after we picked it up. We were in the lobby, just already getting started with like meeting one another. Um, and then like there was dinner delivered later on that evening. Day two consisted of a special worship service. It was led by Joel San Pedro. Following that, there was lunch, and then later on that evening was a um, banquet or Kadiwa formal that was held. So you'll see us in our fancier clothing for that event. So there's several of those pictures on the slide that you'll see. And then after the formal, we would return back to our hotel rooms. And then day three was a fun day. So we started off at the farm that they had there, and there'll be some pictures of us at the farm. So there was an INC giving and a Kadiwa fun day that was held there, um, where the locales of Manitoba so graciously put up booths, and then they set up food stations, and we were able to go around to the different booths, have different foods. They had games there. There was a lot of line dancing and karaoke. Some of our delegates from Florida even sang in front of everyone. Um, and then after that, uh, back to the hotel, um, and then enjoyed an evening. And every single night, one of my personal was every single night at 9:45, we all gathered for a devotional prayer. And so like incorporating those spiritual aspects was definitely important for the activity and its success.
Right. Thank you. Well, and one of the things I want to pose this question to Sister Mia. Um, First of all, when you traveled, was this your first time to Canada, Sister Mia? Had you been there
This
before?
was my first time in Canada.
It's your first time in Canada. So coming into kind of a foreign country, right? Leaving and then going into an activity like this. Did you have any expectations about what it is that you were looking forward to doing, or things that you thought this activity was going to be, and then versus what ended up being sort of the reality for you?
I went into this not really having much expectations because I mean I knew it was going to be in a big scale, but I've never been to something like this. So I kind of just said, okay, well maybe I'll meet a few people and maybe I'll have some fun and that's about it. But during the event, it definitely exceeded my expectations, definitely 100%. I had a lot more fun than I thought I would. I think the activities and just the way that it allowed us time to really talk to people because that was something I was looking forward to is meeting a lot of people because I feel like a lot of activities in our district, it's people know each other
Hmm.
and sometimes you're more comfortable, so you may stay with a few people like that and people don't really branch out. And this one, it was like everyone was forced to talk to people, and it's like, oh, like really, we might as well take advantage and just talk to as many people as we can. And I really enjoyed that aspect that we were able to meet people from all over. I think that part was the reason why it exceeded my expectations was because it was you just met so many people. Like it really got to the point to where you would meet so many people that you would remember their faces, maybe not names sometimes, but it got to the point where we were forgetting faces. Like that was how many people we met.
Wow. Yeah, because usually it's the awkward. They come up to you and they know your name, and you're just nodding and smiling as if you're waiting for them to say, "It's me, so and so."
For me, it was more like I would remember your face, but your name you might have to remind me. But it just got to the point where you were just forgetting both.
Wow, that's a lot. Well, and thank you for that. We're going to come back to you with another question, but the on the topic of just going there and just making it a mission to meet as many people as you can, I'd like to ask Brother Tristan, when you arrived there, were you expecting this size of an activity in terms of like the magnitude and the number of people that were there?
Right. Just kind of echoing what Sister Mia said. I think that my expectations were kind of lower as well. I didn't want to like go into it with that huge amount of expectations, but of course, with the title of international, I was thinking that I'd have the opportunity to meet a lot of different brethren from all over the world. But I was really surprised by the turnout by the many different districts. I'm really happy to have opportunity to have gone to this activity because um, sometimes, like Sister Mia said, you forget just how widespread the church is all around the world, and it's through activities like these that we're kind of reminded of that. Um, Being able to meet a bunch of different brethren around our age kind of reminds us, that they're going through the same things as us. I've had the opportunity to meet uh, for example, fellow organists from all the way to California to Canada, and just having the opportunity to talk with them, share our experiences with each other, it was really inspiring and something that I'll hold on to and remember for a long time because it's relationships and friendships like those that can help us keep going whenever we're going through hard times and such.
That's awesome. That's a great answer, brother Tristan. I think one of the things that's really important, and you mentioned it, is that this gives you an opportunity to be in an environment where you get to meet others who are going through a lot of the same maybe challenges that you're going through, or having the same experiences that you're going through, and realizing that even outside our district, a lot of the same problems or a lot of the same things that are happening are similar, and it's a good way to get together as a collective and kind of work through a lot of those things. So Sister Cass, this obviously you've been involved with and helped to organize a lot of these larger scale activities. Something of this magnitude obviously takes a tremendous amount of planning, but can you talk a little bit about what your impressions are of how the whole thing was organized, and how it is that you felt the host um, districts, you know, what they did to really just kind of keep everything moving along? Because I know that that's a tough thing when you're organizing any kind of an activity of this scale to just keep things moving.
Well, first off, huge shout out to the District of Manitoba. To Ivan Pasquale, the KSKP over there. He, as heavy of a burden it is to put on an activity to this magnitude, he was always very calm and very nice and easy to speak with and everything. Um, I cannot imagine what it felt like to put together something this large. I've put together a lot of activities, but definitely nothing like this. Many times throughout the activity, I remember just coming up to Ivan, like, if there's anything you need help with, well, please let us know. Even on night one, before the activity began, I just asked him, I was like, if you need help with registration or anything tomorrow, let us know. And he's like, no, 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 you guys enjoy yourself, enjoy yourself. Um, and I was like, okay, officer mentality. I can't, just sit back during a large activity. And to my surprise, he started listing other districts that also offered help for organizing or, on the day of activity help. And, I think it really just shows that we're officers all the time, and that anytime there's an activity, we really want to help out as much as we can, even if it's not our district. From my understanding, Ka Ivan had said that it was really just Manitoba that was planning this. And he did share that if in the future something like this was to happen, he probably would reach out to other districts. So I think that really even shows all the more that a lot of the lifting was on the District of Manitoba, and I would say that they did a great job, trying to manage over 600 Kadiwa coming from all over the place. And like they really did a great job, which with making sure that we were entertained throughout the activity.
Awesome.
Sister Kath, I got a question for you because
You talked about how walking into this activity, there were so many people that you met that even it got to the point where you felt as if you were forgetting faces. There are activities that were designed to help really kind of break the ice and kind of get people to meet others.
I think Brother Jim has a question also. But there were definitely things to break the ice. So for example, at the Kadiwa formal, they did have a little booklet, and it had like meet someone from this district, and it had all the districts labeled on the booklet, and then you would just have a signature from one person from each district. They had also another side where it said like capture people's Instagram. So there were like little things to break the ice. And it kind of waited until then, because officially, day one with the registration, it was just pick up your registration stuff and go back to your hotel room. So we made unofficial, meetings, but yeah, so that was like the first like really icebreaker, I would say.
But that's all. I'll try to sneak within now. But Sister Kath, I as a convert to the church, I've always been really impressed about the number of activities for all age groups, but especially for young people. And I remember when I was growing up, some of the opportunities I had to travel, and it just, I think Sister Tristan said it has a lifelong impact. And I really want to make sure that Luke, my son, has the opportunity when he gets a little bit older to do things like this, because it looks so much fun. How much support, as far as, finding out what you need to do? I mean, are you providing itineraries? I just, for a parent, because we have so much going on, is it well organized? Could you kind of take the information and plan your flights, or how much support is there really for you to get the Manitoba?
So two things, Brother Jim. One, I actually reached, like, I was talking to my friends who are booklet now, and I'm an older Kadiwa. I'm 34, and I will say that we did not have these type of activities when I was brother Tristan or sister Mia's age. So I would very much think that brother Luke has these opportunities in the future. Secondly, to answer your question, I think brother Tristan and sister Mia would agree that we were kind of like messaging each other, like, what should I pack? Right. We didn't really know. We had a slide. We had like a presentation, a PDF, and it told us what to expect on these different days. Um, and like what hotel was best to book, what airport to fly into. That's what we knew. We didn't exactly know what exactly we had to prepare in terms of like packing for clothing. Um, so I just remember like reaching out to people and being like, keep in mind, church activities, so we don't want to wear shorts or this and that. And I'm like, this is what I plan to pack just in case. Um, so we didn't really know the clothing aspect. And I do wish that we had known that ahead of time. I would say that's probably the only thing we were not prepared with knowing ahead of time. Other than that, like we were able to piece two and two together, and everything else was completely fine. But yeah, I think that was the only thing that we were not fully 100% prepared with.
Did you get chilly up in Canada? Is that what? did you wish you would have brought it?
I was just gonna say, how ready were the Floridians to take on Canada weather?
I'm gonna throw this to brother Tristan and sister Mia, probably sister Mia, because she was in Florida her whole life. Me from Connecticut, like I was home. The weather was perfect for me, but maybe sister Mia can explain.
I was, I think it's because it was still summer. So in the morning, I would say it was pretty chilly. Like when we went to the farm, I was like, oh, I think it's going to be okay. But then we were there and I was like, oh, maybe not. I was a little cold, but then as like the afternoon came, it became pretty hot. But I mean, it's still summer, so but the weather in general was really nice. I mean, it was, I will say it was better than Florida.
Sister Audrey, I would imagine right now a little bit of chili would feel really nice to you. Here in
Yes, an average temperature of 75 would be picture perfect to go outside for a long stroll. But yeah, no, I'm looking at the photos here, Sister Mia. You mentioned that you guys went to a farm. Can you tell us a little bit more about like what were some takeaways from those activities that you guys did together? Because I'm sure with all of the different faces, I'm sure this is probably a new experience for a lot of them too.
At the farm.
Oh yeah, just any I think you guys were at the farm on that top right picture, right? And then can you tell us a little bit more about what you guys did there?
I'm gonna be honest, when we went to the farm, I had no idea what to expect because they told us to pack like jeans and like shoes that we were okay with getting dirty. So in my mind, I was thinking, oh man, we're gonna be like planting, we're gonna be like shoveling, like that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, they're gonna put us to work. But when we got there, it's really nice. Like they had a lot of booths with food, and we got like there was open mic, there was a lot of karaoke. I think the activity itself was more socializing than anything, which was really nice because I honestly like I think that was the point of the activity was to be able to meet as many people as possible. And it gave us that room to like roam around and go to different groups and talk to other people. So I think that aspect was probably I would say that the farm was probably one of my favorite parts just because of how open and it was like a different environment. It wasn't like you were in the hotel lobby. It was we could do things. So
Yeah, and I mean, I wasn't Kadiwa that long ago, I think, right? So, I mean, having events like this where it's such a large capacity and in a time where word travels so quickly, it's almost part of the thrill of these activities where it's like we don't really know what to expect, but all we know is that we're super excited to either being reunited again with others that you've met before, or see new faces that you haven't. And I just remember like coming back after that, feeling, wow, this was so uplifting. This was amazing. So what for you, Brother Tristan, what were some takeaways that you had from such a large capacity event like this?
Right. I think my biggest takeaway from, you know, being part of this big event was that, um, the church is just so widespread, and that um, it's always such a good opportunity to go out of your way to make it to events like these, because it'll be worth it in the end for sure. And any time in the future that the church puts together something like this, all the more make sure to encourage my fellow Kadiwa and my fellow brethren to make it to events like this, because this is definitely something that I feel like I'll be talking about for a while and probably be talking about to my friends and, my loved ones, and just expressing what a great experience this was.
So it sounds like, Brother Tristan, you're excited to practice your line dancing a little bit more.
Right, yeah, I need to practice my dancing skills in general a little bit.
and like we mentioned earlier in the show, that this is also an opportunity. You're Katiwa, you're 18, some are older. It's an opportunity to kind of meet people. So without obviously giving names or anything, do you feel like there were some sparks flying? Did you think I might have to go up to Canada again sometime just to hang out? Brother Tristan's not going to answer. That was a very long pause.
Sorry, I wasn't sure if the question was to me. I think that I just had the greatest time just meeting a bunch of different people, making a lot of different relationships and friendships. And I hope that we can still stay in contact with one another, even though we may be far apart. But these days there's social media and everything, so that makes it a bit easier.
All right, that was not an answer, but we're going to accept it. We'll move on
he said, I will neither confirm nor deny. No, but Sister Mia, as a fellow Floridian, what about you? Because I know District of Florida, sometimes it could feel very small because we're such a, large state and pretty much spread out. How about you? Any like major big takeaways from this event and getting to meet all these Kadiwas from all over the world?
Well, when people ask me, because people always ask like, oh, like how was the event? Like, what did you think of it? For me, like a lot of people say, oh, it was fun. But I think for me, it was enlightening. I think more than anything. I feel like I came back almost stronger. I would say stronger in faith, but I think a lot of us felt that way. But I don't know. I think the fact, because like you mentioned, like Florida is pretty small and it's very spread out, and meeting a lot of Kadiwa that are like, oh, like the closest chapel is like 10 minutes from us. And I'm like, oh, no way. Like that must be nice, and having like that big group of Kadiwas sometimes, like some locales, like they don't really have that. They don't really have the big like Kadiwa like hangouts that they could just hang out with each other, or they're in the same district but they're close, so it's possible. And sometimes in Florida, I don't think we really have that. So, and plus being in Florida my whole life, I'm not really used to that. So when I went there, it was like, oh wow, like people do that. And I think one of the takeaways too is being able to meet people from all over. So, if I go to Canada, I'll have someone in Canada to talk to. And I think that was something that I'm going to hold on to. It's just making those connections. That was something I really took away from that.
And I want to give you all an opportunity, since we're getting at the top of the hour, fastest 30 minutes in radio, to give a shout out, and especially to those that you met, or some of the locales on the trip. So, Sister Mia, who would you like to give a shout out to?
I would say the two biggest districts that were there. I swear everyone I met was either from Cali or DC. There were so many, so everyone from there.
Big shout out to Cali and DC. How about you, Sister Cassandra?
A big thank you to the District of Manitoba. for putting all of this together, and to the church administration for constantly thinking about the youth.
Excellent. And Sister Tristan, here's your opportunity to give that shout out. Who would you like to give a shout out to?
I'd like to give a shout out to all the event organizers, primarily from the District of Manitoba, like Sister Cass mentioned. It's not easy to put together something like this, so definitely thank you for having us and for hosting this event.
Wonderful. Well, thank you all for showing up. This was so great, and I'm really proud of all of you for going up there and really having that chance to connect. And I'm sure you brought back some great ideas to all your locales. But like I mentioned, it is 9:00, and we all want to thank everyone who joined us today, and to Sister Audrey, Brother Robert, and Sister Joy, and all the family here. Thank you all so much. And please tune in next week. We hope to see you then. Thank you.
This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ, or Iglesia ni Cristo.